Hello, as you know, my name is Nathan Ganeshow, and today I'd like to talk about Mercy Street, my experience with it, and how it interacts with and relates to the concepts we learned in our textbook. Some background info on Mercy Street first. They were founded in 2003, and in Dallas, they've been trying very hard. They've been, like, as their organizational message, they push very hard for transforming inner city youth and like infusing them with Christian leadership principles and like, well, servant leadership principles if you want to connect that to DBU. They're trying very hard to get those disaffected inner city kids to like understand the love of Christ through, in many ways, primarily sports ministry. Like you show them how to play soccer and you like connect that with biblical principles and with God. And so that's like a very admirable thing that they do, and they do it with the love of Christ in their hearts. And so, connecting that to management and our courses as a whole, I would like to talk about Theory X versus Theory Y management. Now, to explain that, Theory X management is the idea that your workers, your employees are all lazy. They inherently want to just like rip you off, kind of. They want to go into work, do as little as they possibly can, and then leave with as much money as they possibly can. And so that theory of management requires you to just like ride hard on them, force them to do work. Whereas Theory Y management posits that employees deep down they want to do good and they want to do what's good for the organization. So you should foster an environment where they're allowed to live up to their best selves rather than being like forced into a lane. And for sure it works differently for different people, but Mercy Street as a whole, at least in my experience volunteering there, operates on much more of a Theory Y mindset where like they assume that you're there to do as much good as they possibly can, and they sort of like try to help you accomplish that rather than like forcing you into a specific lane where you can be like fully monitored and everything like that. You can find Theory X versus Theory Y management in Chapter 2, pages 46 to 47, and Chapter 10, pages on the screen there. Now, the second concept I'd like to talk about is organizational culture. Now, something about organizational culture, it starts from the founders of the organization and then sort of trickles down from there. Like the founders will hire people who think like them, and then those people who think like them will hire people who think like them. And from there, it just sort of permeates the entire organization. And the organizational culture of Mercy Street is obviously like, according with their stated mission statement, they have strong Christian values. They very much want to like spread the love of Jesus in everything that they do, and that's like including in the way they speak, in like everything really. In my experience, they're very accommodating to others. They were very accommodating to me personally. And like, if you want to hear a personal story there, I actually forgot my journal on one of those days, and they actually helped me like be able to like get my hours recorded for CLS anyway. So that was very kind of them, and they did not have to do that. And thirdly, they're as an organization, they're not really like very like high organization. They don't like have that traditional formal or well, not leadership structure, formal dress code that you'd expect in a lot of more traditional businesses. And that's like as part of their culture and also part of their way to reach the youth. And you can find where you can find that in the textbook in these chapter pages here. The third concept I'd like to talk about from the textbook is intrinsic, extrinsic, and pro-social motivation. Intrinsic motivation is you're trying to do a job as well as you can. It comes from like a personal sense of satisfaction. Extrinsic is like the praise or adoration of others or physical rewards like money and well, just like bonuses, stuff like that. Pro-social motivation is what usually motivates volunteers unless they're looking for hours for a class, and that includes just like the whole purpose of the organization. It's to help people, so they have like all three of those types of motivation working together ideally, and that's something that Mercy Street is in a unique position to take advantage of. All right. The impact that this has had on me personally is that I've gotten like the experience to like work in a lower income area, which is something like in the DBU bubble. Sometimes you like forget what it's like for a lot of people in the real world. That's very useful. Working there is also helps build like positive moral character. Like I know a lot about how to tie zip ties now, so that's very much fun, and it like gives me that experience so that like next time I'm asked to tie zip ties for multiple hours on end, I will be able to do that without reservation. You also learn how to solve problems, practical problems, and that's very helpful. And from the career side, like working at Mercy Street for a semester, it like frankly just looks good on your resume, you know? Like there's nobody who's not gonna like it, and that experience can only be beneficial for you. And that ends my TED Talk.